Hey, welcome back. This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And you're looking at my Texan PL880. I like to use this radio because it has up here a signal to noise ratio indication, which is good for antenna testing, which is what I'm doing right now. I've got the MFJ vertical antenna hooked up to this radio right now. Now, there is some negatives to the setup I've got, and it's a question of how these factors will affect my shortwave listing. And what they are is, right now I don't have the correct cable from the antenna to this radio. I've got to use several adapters. As you can see, if I slide this over a little bit, I've got two adapters here to go from B and C to PL 259 to the 1/8-inch plug that you plug into this radio from this external antenna jack. And at the other end, I'm cool. I've got the right connector at the other end. So it's only this end that I've added these two adapters, which I don't know if that affects receive too much. It definitely would affect if I was transmitting. But anyway, so that's where we're at. That's the setup I've got. And it's 8 o'clock in the morning here in Florida. This is Radio Australia on 9.580. Again, I'm on the external antenna, so let's turn the volume back up again. And the signal to noise ratio, turn down, is bouncing between about a 6 and 18. So let's take the antenna loose, so I will have no antenna at all. Well, I've got the telescopic antenna, but it's collapsed. Still doing pretty good. So that signal is really strong. And again, telescopic antenna is back here and it's collapsed. Now let's just extend it and see what happens. Now keep in mind that I have my monitor and my computer turned on. And let's get around things. Okay, this antenna on this radio, you can't get it to come straight up perpendicular to the radio. So you have to use the radio on this angle. And right now, the signal to noise ratio is about the same. So this signal is coming in pretty good. Now let's try something else. Let's try WWV on 10 megahertz. So gotta remember how to do this on this radio. Okay, there it is. Pretty weak. The you can't see it on the camera, but the signal to noise ratio is 7 and less. Doesn't seem to go above 7. Now, let's put the antenna down, the telescopic antenna down, so that I can lay this radio flat. And then we'll hook up the external antenna. And now the signal noise ratio is as high as 21. It's about 15 or so to 21. Oh, they dropped down to 5 there. Nice, good signal. Let's try 5 megahertz. Not so good this morning. I guess it's because the sun is already pretty high on the horizon. Try 15 for the heck of it. It's a little early for 15. That's good. Let's tune around 31 meters. Let's start about, let's start at 10 megahertz and go down. Not too good. Stop for a second. Now, I looked at the solar flux index, which is an indication of the solar flux, and as far as shortwave listening, what you want is something above 100. And this is just one indication of whether you're going to get good reception. It's not absolute guaranteed. Well, it's down this morning. It's down in the low 80s, so it's pretty terrible if you go by that indicator. So probably explains why I'm only getting the very strong signals this morning. Now, what we can do, I think, if I can remember, we can try another antenna. So let's find a signal. Try to find a signal. Try to find one in English. Not that that's important, but just testing the antennas.
Was a huge global war.
Well, there's a extremely strong. That's Radio Australia again, and it's coming in so strong that, as you saw, I was even with the no antenna external and using the built-in telescopic antenna, it's still coming in strong. So that's not a good one to test. Bands are pretty quiet, probably due to that solar flux index being so low. Whoa. Oh, I think that's one of the religious stations out of Tennessee.
Await to scatter that change to the four corners of the earth. So we're no more bullshit.
Well, I thought I'd find something here. Well, let's go back to WWV. No reliable. It's always there. Now, the one thing about WWV on 10 megahertz, there's a number of stations right next to it. So you get those coming in sometimes. There, I can barely hear. There we go. Okay, so now let's unplug this. Basically don't hear anything because I don't even have the telescopic antenna extended. We can try, and this is, I'm not really comparing these two antennas because it's kind of apples and oranges in that the antenna I had on there is a vertical antenna. It's up 31 feet at the peak, and this one is a horizontal in-fed antenna. So it's totally different configuration, but let's see what it does. Picked up a lot of noise. Yeah. The signal level itself is very high, and so is the noise. But that's not too good. Let's try one more that I've got sitting here on my desk in my cluttered mess. And we'll switch out adapters here. I'm trying to figure out how to, okay, how do I unscrew this thing? Boy, that adapter was, it's stuck. Man. Oh, I was doing something wrong. Well, you know me. I'm always doing something wrong. At least that's what my wife tells me. Okay, so now we're using my old long wire antenna. It has no coupler or transformer. It's just a long wire. So we're going to plug that in here. See what it does. Not too bad. Now again, this is different coax antennas facing a different direction. Just there's infinite variables here. And it took me 5 minutes to switch between the two. I don't have my antenna switch hooked up right now. Let me see if I can do that quickly. Don't know if I have the right cables. It's always easier to check antennas if you can use an antenna switch so you can switch back and forth very quickly. Okay, we're getting there. Stand by. I could tell you a joke, but I never can remember the punchlines on jokes, so can't do that. Okay, we got the output of the switch through this coax. And maybe I'll zoom out here for a second so you can better see how I'm arranging this. And I'm putting the adapter for the radio on this end. That's this right here. And kind of jam this in the radio. Okay, now we'll hook. We can't hook that one. Well, we can't hook up this one, which is the vertical antenna, because at the moment. Oh, yes, no. Yeah, I do. Okay. I was going to say I didn't have an adapter, but I'm using it here. So here's the adapter. So we'll put that on number 4. Whoa. Okay, we're on that. The switch is on number 4 already, so you could see the difference right away. See the difference? Well, hear the difference. And my long wire antenna has the right connector, so I can just use that one. Again, I'm not really comparing these two antennas because they're totally different configurations. I kind of compare them, just compare different configurations. Okay, right now, I've connected through the switch and I'm connected to the vertical MFJ antenna. That's what you're hearing right now. Pretty good.
At the tone, 12 hours, 24 minutes.
Of course, another factor. Okay, there's a minute. Another factor is the cable and the length of antenna. So, and the frequency I'm trying to listen to, because depending on all those variables, you may get a stronger signal on a specific frequency. When we just switch antennas, it may work better on a different frequency. Okay, so now we're going to switch in my homemade long wire antenna. Here we go. No change. Check that out. No change. But look at the numbers. Yeah, about the same. Yeah, it's pretty close to the same on that particular frequency. Now, the way I've got the vertical antenna set up, as you saw in previous videos, it's resonant at about 7.6 megahertz with no tuner in. You know, I'm straightly going to the antenna. So we can tune down to those bands and see if it does any better than the other antenna. So let's go down. Let's go down to the amateur radio band. Although this radio, this PL-880, it doesn't do very good on single sideband. It's kind of distorted, but we go down there anyway. So let's go down to 7 megahertz. Start there, and we'll turn the volume up. And right now we're on my long wire antenna, and we'll tune and see what we can find. Okay, let's see if I can go to single sideband. Right there, upper sideband. Oh, wrong button. Okay, there's upper sideband. Yeah, that's the problem with tuning in the ham bands. They're not transmitting continuously, so they come and go. What can I say? There's one. No, can't quite find him. Almost sounds like he's on lower sideband. I want to go lower. There we go.
That's neat stuff, you know.
There we go.
Read about that.
So we're at 7.14988. And we're on my long wire antenna. And if you'll start talking again, and of course now he's not transmitting. That's one thing about playing around with antennas and testing. It can take a lot of time. And I'm almost up to 20 minutes on this video, which I don't really like to go that long. And he's gone. I'm going to switch over. Okay, there's a guy. I don't know if it's the same person. Okay, the one thing I noticed, and again, apples and oranges, is when I switch to the vertical antenna, which has the little transformer box to match the impedance of the long wire and the radio, the noise level went down and therefore the signal came in clearer. Not by a great amount, but a little bit. Again, right now, if you look at the solar indicator, band conditions are not that good. So anyway, that was my attempt. We'll try maybe later this afternoon, and maybe conditions will be better. And I'll play around some more offline, see what happens. But that's how it goes. If you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. I went over my